Hi there, and welcome back to Fuzzy on the Details. My name is Fuzzy, and I'm about as psyched as you can be for the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and I just can't contain myself anymore. So, in honor of the upcoming movie, I'm going to share some advice on how you can work fourth wall breaking into the Marvel Multiverse Roleplaying Game, including a full fourth wall power set with 7 new and absolutely ridiculous powers. These powers will pull heavily from the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailers and from Deadpool 1 and 2. So, as you might imagine, they're not exactly child-friendly. So if you're sensitive to crude language, or if you have any good taste whatsoever, or if you've been avoiding the trailers for possible spoilers before you see the movie, this is your chance to back out. Still with me? Great. Then let's fucking go. Before we get into the powers, let's talk about the ways the fourth wall is broken in the Deadpool movies. First, there are lots of quips and jokes where Deadpool comments on the movie, as an observer would, with knowledge of the real world. Sometimes he turns to the camera when doing so, in recognition of the audience, but sometimes he's just joking like he was an audience member himself, like in this scene.
Let us go talk to the professor.
McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing.
Second, Deadpool is aware that he's in a movie, and he can actually react to the tools of storytelling and movie making. In this scene, he actually physically moves the camera, shifting the view of the audience member.
Oh, you'll tell me. But first, you might want to look away for this. Now this little...
And one step further, he has a knowledge and understanding of the story itself and those who wrote it. He can refer to different scenes, the theme of an overall movie, and he even understands when he's in a post-credit scene. He talks about budgets, sequels, and in the second Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, he even mentioned the guy who was ultimately in control of his story.
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
Now, technically, being aware of the audience is fourth wall breaking, but being aware of the creators is fifth wall breaking. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to consider it all to be fourth wall. So translating these concepts from a movie to an RPG can be pretty straightforward. Instead of referring to Kevin Feige or the screenplay, we can have interactions with the narrator or the adventure. Instead of controlling the camera, we can control the pacing of a battle or the story. And instead of acknowledging an audience, fourth wall breaks can recognize that the players are controlling the characters. So thinking about that, here are some examples of the kinds of mechanics we can play around with. In recognition of the fact that they know they're in a game, a fourth wall character can use reactions that are tied to player actions instead of things that the characters do. Karma is a really fun mechanic to play around with, as it already kind of breaks the rules. So a fourth wall character can get a little extra meta by breaking the rules that break the rules. And instead of controlling the camera, we can control the pacing, slowing things in combat, or fast-forwarding the plot, or even rewriting parts of the story. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of mechanics you can play with. I encourage you guys to think of your own. Let me know what kind of silly fun you come up with in the comments. And if you'd like to see more powers once you're done with the video, maybe some based on She-Hulk, or some more after the Deadpool and Wolverine movie comes out, let me know that in the comments too.
I am soaking wet right now.
Nope, that wasn't a transition. That's the name of the first power. I am soaking wet right now is the base power for the whole power set, a rank 1 power that other higher rank powers have as a prerequisite. This is to prevent possible abuse of the surprising power trait, which can't overcome power prerequisites the way it can overcome rank prerequisites. So Deadpool often makes comments when super cool stuff happens in a scene, and this power provides a mechanical benefit when that happens. The effect is, if a player at the table rolls an ultimate fantastic success, this character gets a point of karma. They also get an edge on their next action check, which must be used before the end of their next turn. Now, as we'll see as we explore the rest of the power set, fourth wall breaking characters will play around a lot with karma, edges, and other ways to bend the rules and manipulate dice rolls, so the chances of an ultimate fantastic success will be far greater than in a regular party. Also, this power, like others we're going to get into, will provide ways for a character like Deadpool, who doesn't have the heroic tag, to get more karma.
Be your best shot, one-eyed Willie.
The next power is Slice Bullet. We've seen Deadpool pull off this slow motion shot a couple of times in the movies. As mentioned, we'll require I am soaking wet right now as a prereq to prevent anyone from dipping into this power too easily. It is a reaction that costs 5 focus. Now, while the power is called Slice Bullet, the trigger is being attacked at range with any projectile that targets the character's agility defense, so it could be an arrow, and yes, it could be an elemental blast or burst. This is another reason why we've got I am soaking wet right now as a prereq, as a normal swordsman really shouldn't be able to take this power, because it's ridiculous. Anyway, here's the effect. On a failure, the character just takes damage as usual, like they were normally shot. On a success, though, the character doesn't take any damage, and up to 2 enemies within reach of that character each eat half a bullet and take half damage. On a fantastic success, up to 2 enemies take full damage, and on a fantastic failure, the character takes damage as normal, but gains a karma point if they say,
Those bullets are like super fast.
You'll notice that in a lot of these powers, we're going to be looking for additional ways to give fourth wall characters extra karma points.
Big slow motion action sequence.
If Slice Bullet forces the action to go to slow motion to allow one character to accomplish something ridiculous, then the big slow motion action sequence power accomplishes that for the entire party. For a cost of 10 focus, this rank 3 power allows all allies to get an additional d6 to roll on their initiative, and the total of those 4 dice are added together to get your initiative. For the purposes of determining an ultimate fantastic success, only 2 of the 3 regular dice must come up with 6s, of course in addition to the Marvel result on the Marvel die. Additionally, all allies gain an extra reaction until the end of the first round of combat, meaning this reaction could be used in a theoretical bonus round or in the first round of combat. Finally, any power used with this reaction incurs no focus cost. So for example, Quick Phase would be free instead of costing 5 focus. Now whenever a player declares a big slow motion action sequence, the X Gonna Give It To You power can turn it into something truly cinematic. When using this power, your whole party gets to make an immediate double move action, doing a slow motion walk either to close the distance to the enemy or to get in an advantageous position. To confirm, this movement happens before initiative is actually rolled. Additionally, for a bit of meta fun, if anyone at the table plays a clip of DMX's X Gonna Give It To You, on their phone or laptop or whatever, then all allied characters gain an additional 10 focus. You may exceed your focus maximum, but any extra focus points are removed at the end of the battle, so better use them. So those 4 powers round out half of our power tree. Here's what it looks like so far. 3 more to go.
Maximum effort. Maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
Maximum effort. Maximum effort.
Maximum effort is Deadpool's mantra when he wants to pump himself up to do something, usually something crazy. This power grants Deadpool the ability to guarantee that anytime he invests a full standard action into preparing to do something the next turn, he gets, well, maximum result for his maximum effort. When he uses the help standard action in combat, treat whatever die you re-roll for that edge as though you had rolled the maximum value. So a 6 on a regular die or a Marvel result on the Marvel die. This roll cannot be cancelled out or negated in any way. Once per game, the character can gain a point of karma if the player says maximum effort while using this power. I would also accept time to make the chimmy fucking chongas, or a different catchphrase if the character isn't Deadpool.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Fourth wall characters can read ahead in the script and understand the motivations of any character within line of sight, as though it was revealed through a third act flashback or a villainous monologue. If the target of this power is an NPC, the narrator must reveal the motivations of that character, sharing any pertinent notes. If the target is a PC, then that character's player can decide if they reveal the motivation or backstory, but if they choose to do so, then their character will automatically receive a point of karma for the roleplay. In either case, NPC or PC, the character using this power also receives a point of karma for the roleplay and for advancing the plot. This power can only be used once per character or NPC. In addition to this being a meta power giving the character some control over the narrative of the game, it also provides another way to stack some karma points not only for themselves, but for other players. Lastly, we've got a power that really amps the way that karma is used.
I am Marvel Jesus.
The first benefit of this power is that a character can get and spend karma the same way a character with the heroic trait can. Also, when spending a point of karma to gain an edge, this character can re-roll all of their dice and take the better result for each roll. When this character spends a point of karma to give enemy trouble, they may additionally rewrite this scene and force the character targeted to select a completely different standard action than the one they just took. So if the big bad guy uses an attack action, now they must use either a dodge, escape, grab, help, move, or use a power action, provided that power is not also an attack. The target also gets trouble on that action check, the same way they would for using karma normally for this purpose. Finally, when using karma to recover either health or focus, you may turn the Marvel die to a 6 on the resilience or vigilance check that you made. This means that you'll always have, at the very least, the best regular success that you can roll, and you still got a chance to get that Marvel on the middle die and double your points. Alright, here's the full power set. Now that's a lot of powers to squeeze into a build, so if you're going to be playing an MCU version of Deadpool, I would recommend rebuilding him from scratch. There's no wrong way to do it, but if it were me, I would remove the Mighty One power. We just haven't seen that level of strength out of him in the MCU, and it doesn't stack with his swords anyway. And I'd probably remove at least one level of Uncanny. And honestly, we haven't seen him effectively use a lot of the martial arts powers in these movies. But we have seen him do some pretty amazing things with guns, and the profile in the core rulebook doesn't have any ranged weapon powers at all. So I'd probably remove most, if not all, of his martial arts powers, keep the melee ones, add whatever fourth wall powers you want, and you'll probably still have some leftovers to put into ranged weapons. To me, I think that would give a more MCU accurate build. Now, I would love to see the builds that you come up with. And if you're bonkers enough to use these powers in a game, please let me know your feedback. I'm dying to know how this works at your table. If there's interest, I can revisit some of these powers after the Deadpool and Wolverine movie comes out, and maybe even add a few more. As always, I'll base my priorities on your comments, so if you would prefer not to see content like this in the future, please let me know that in the comments as well. I recognize this is a little bit of a departure of my recent content, so your feedback is especially important to me on this video. One last comment before I let you go, true believers. You may have noticed I'm creeping up on 500 subscribers, and by the time the next video drops, I might have exceeded that number. So I wanted to take some time now to express how grateful I am for everyone's support and feedback. I never even thought of a milestone like that when I started this channel, and it's 100% because of how great you all are with liking and sharing the videos and all of the questions and great feedback you give in the comments. I'm so appreciative of everything that you do to support me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.